What is going on, guys, and welcome back to Touchdowns to Home Runs. My name's Bernie. Thank you for joining us today on the Touchdowns to Home Runs show. I hope that your day is going absolutely fantastic. We have some big news coming from the college football world. The Michigan Wolverines have just given a contract extension to their head coach, Jim Harbaugh. And if you're a Michigan Wolverines fan like me, trust me, I know what you're going through. This entire situation is absolutely ridiculous, and trust me, in just a second, I am about to go off on an absolute rant. If you're not a Michigan Wolverines fan, I know you guys are laughing right now. You probably find this hysterical, and rightfully so. Again, this entire situation is absolutely ridiculous. But while you are laughing at us, make sure to go to the Touchdowns to Home Run store. We have some great Jim Harbaugh designs. We have sweaters, we have t-shirts, a bunch of different colors. The merch itself, great quality. Again, that's in the Touchdowns to Home Run store. The link for that will be down in the description. Make sure to check it out. But here's where I stand on the Jim Harbaugh situation. This is absolutely ridiculous. I cannot believe, after what we not only saw just this season, but what we've seen in previous seasons, that I am making a video where Jim Harbaugh actually gets a contract situation. The way he has coached the Michigan Wolverines for really the past 6 years, but more recently in the past 3 or 4 years, is absolutely ridiculous, and there is no way that it justifies a contract extension. Now, I know that Warde Manuel is going to try to justify this by saying it was Don Brown, and now he's fired, so we're giving Harbaugh one more chance, or he's going to justify it by what Harbaugh has done in the recruiting game. And I'm not taking anything away from what Jim Harbaugh's done in the recruiting game, and I actually touched on it on previous videos that I was really surprised with how well I thought they did, especially on early signing day, to get a top class highlighted by 5-star J.J. McCarthy and a much-needed quarterback. But there is no way that a recruiting class for 2021 that ranks number 13 nationally justifies a contract extension of a head coach who has never had less than 3 losses in a season, who had 2 wins this season. He had a 2-4 record, didn't even qualify for a bowl game, has lost the past 4 bowl games that he's played in. He's 0-5 against Ohio State, our rivals. He's 3-3 against Michigan State, has not played well against Penn State. So I just want to know which part of what Harbaugh has done in the past at least 4 seasons justifies this contract extension. And again, I think he had a fantastic early signing day. That definitely surprised me. And we have, I think it's 5 top 100 recruits highlighted, again, by J.J. McCarthy, who we desperately need. But we have top recruiting classes every single year. And it's not like this one was that high. We were only ranked number 13. But we have these top recruiting classes every single year, and Harbaugh has failed to get the job done. So at what point for 1 year do we just sacrifice that recruiting class and just press restart on the program so that we can finally start going in the right direction? Because for the past 6 years, Jim Harbaugh has not got it done. And I cannot believe that we are not moving on here. Now, there's also a few other reasons sort of what I've seen from Jim Harbaugh in the past few seasons. The first is player development, or the lack thereof. This I think is highlighted with our quarterbacks that we've had in the past few seasons. We look at a guy like Shea Patterson. Extremely talented quarterback coming to the University of Michigan. A guy who can move his feet. A guy who actually did good in his first, seasons as the Michigan starting quarterback. But we consistently see Jim Harbaugh fail to get players from here to here, and really talented players as well. Again, we have those top recruiting classes every year. It's not like we're not bringing top talent into our program. We look at a guy like Joe Milton this year, a guy who can not only move his feet, but a guy who can throw like 80 yards, which we've seen him do before in warm-up and in practices. And look at what Joe Milton was not able to do this year. He was horrible after week 1 against Minnesota. And I think, again, yes, that is a discredit to other coaches that Michigan has. But another example, let's look at the players that Harbaugh's produced that are now in the NFL. Who's the best NFL player that has played under Jim Harbaugh at the University of Michigan? Jabril Peppers? I mean, yes, that is a discredit to some coaches in the NFL, a discredit to some players at the University of Michigan. But at what point do you look back to Jim Harbaugh, the head coach that they had at the collegiate level, and say you are just not getting the job done when it comes to player development? Because that is the case. We cannot get the players, developed from the talent that they have as a freshman to when they leave in year 3 or year 4 to be ready to be superstars in the NFL. That has just not been the case and we're wasting these top recruits that we get year in and year out. Again, I know that Michigan fans know what I'm talking about when every single drive, it's the same thing. It's a run, and a pass. And I think that speaks to sort of the lack of a scheme that Jim Harbaugh has been able to create, particularly on offense, but also defensively. And I know, Don Brown definitely played a part in that in the past 5 years. But Michigan's defense has been declining every single one of those years since 2015. And you can pass on the blame wherever you want to the players. You can pass it on to the other players on the coaching staff. But again, what point do you turn to Jim Harbaugh and say you are just not the guy who is going to get it done for our program? Now, I'll just speak to Don Brown for a second. Obviously, he's being let go. Not going to be our defensive coordinator next year. He came in 2016, I think it was. He's been with Michigan for 5 years. A fantastic, highly sought-out coordinator before he came to the University of Michigan. And every year for the past 5 years in his tenure of Michigan, his defensive rankings have been declining. This is a guy who, before he came to Michigan, and I think even in his first year at Michigan, he had defensive ranks that were literally number 1 or at least top 5 in all of college football. And that has just not at all been the case in the past few years. Now, yes, I think firing Don Brown definitely a start. But after what I've seen this year, we need more changes than just that. A 2-4 year after the start that we had this season against Minnesota is just not acceptable. We lost to some really bad teams. I know, for example, Rutgers was a better team this year. But there is no way that with the talent that we are able to bring in, with one of the most amount of revenues in college football, we have a ton of money to spend on our programs, on our facilities. We have great recruiting. There's no way that game against Rutgers should have been as close as it was, a game that we were down 17 points and one that we almost lost. There's no way that our season should have ended in week 2 against the Michigan State Spartans. And, thankfully we did not play Ohio State, who ended up, now going to the national championship, because we really would have got smacked, and you can credit whatever you want to a COVID year in 2020. But the fact is that this year we were absolutely brutal. There is no way that there should not be more changes on the coaching staff than just Don Brown, particularly looking at Jim Harbaugh. And there's no way, in my opinion, that Warde Manuel can justify this contract extension for Jim Harbaugh. But you guys can let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. That's going to be it for my rant. Again, if you want to check out the merch, go to touchdownstohomeruns.com. We have some great funny designs of Jim Harbaugh. We got sweaters, we got t-shirts, a bunch of different colors as well. Touchdowns to Home Run store, the link for that will be down in the description. Do not miss out. Make sure to buy that as soon as possible. But again, if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a thumbs up, subscribe to Touchdowns to Home Runs for more content just like this. I love covering Michigan Wolverines, so if you're a Michigan Wolverines fan, again, make sure you stick around. But as always, guys, if you made it to this point in the video, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time.